And welcome back. We are here with Game 3 of what is turning out to be a very exciting finals. Definitely not one way. Nobody's getting swept this time. We see ElPolloLoco and Crump pulling out an amazing victory in what appeared to be a very, very tough situation as they were pinned in their base. They had all expansions against them. DudeFromBrzl and Celo going insane with expansions, mass Zerglings. They forgot about the crazy Pollo tech switches. Pollo pulling a genius tech switch to a Mutalisk and just completely surprising them, and those 6 Mutalisks basically riding it to victory as they took out DudeFromBrzl's economy, forcing an early GG and quit. Celo hung around for just a little bit and then eventually surrendered. This is definitely turning out to be a very exciting matchup. Here we find ourselves on Scorched Haven, a death trap for single Zergs. This is like going on Match.com and setting up your profile and forgetting to put any kind of safeguards on and just leaving it public, because you're basically going to have every creeper imaginable coming into this base, as the double Zergs are most likely going to try to team up on Pollo and take advantage of these separate bases. We have seen DudeFromBrzl and Celo pull absolute genius strategic moves on this map. Scorched Haven is definitely one of their best, and they will most likely try to pull off a quick and easy victory and take advantage of all those practice games they have had on this. This map, of course, the option was to veto it from Crump and Pollo. However, they decided, you know what, we're going to go ahead and try to beat them. This could be a psychological choice. Maybe they decided, hey, if we can beat them on this map, we can beat them on any map. And that spawning pool looks awfully close to that larva. Really, really close to that larva. So hopefully that does not pose a problem. But meanwhile, we do see a little bit of game of chase going on here with the workers as Crump decides to check and make sure that there are no early expansions going on. He is obviously wants to avoid any kind of quick expands here and fortification of this center. Now, being double Zerg, DudeFromBrzl and Celo do have a little bit of a disadvantage here. In the sense that they are far apart and they can't wall off. But unfortunately, with only a single Zerg here, unless he goes for a very, very quick Ling attack, which it looks like he may, we do see him kind of pumping out these Lings here. Although in last game, those early Lings were used more for scouting and harassment, just to try and keep them busy. Do see Crump going with a partial wall off this time, most likely so he can help out his teammate if needed. He will definitely want to build. We see DudeFromBrzl stealing some gas here, and he is going to force Crump to show his hand as to what units he has if he wants to get rid of that. Celo, meanwhile, going for that expansion, continuing that trend that we've seen of Celo going for those quick, semi-quick expands, and DudeFromBrzl kind of one-basing it a little bit longer. That is a big switch for them. Usually DudeFromBrzl, a big macro player. We do see a second gateway now going down, and a little bit of Ling build-up here. Of course, Celo wants to keep Lings out of his base. We've seen DudeFromBrzl and Celo hit as early as 5.5 minutes. It looks like they will try to do the same here again. We do see a Baneling nest going down. This has been very standard play from DudeFromBrzl. We've seen him basically build a Baneling nest every single game so far. See him also wasting a worker on the Xel'Naga tower as opposed to going for a Ling, which would definitely be cheaper in the long haul. We do see a nice build-up here of Lings. Unfortunately, Banelings are going to kind of negate that. So he needs to try and take out these Lings early, try to find them, or at least try to take these Xel'Nagas. It looks like he will go for a Xel'Naga, in which case, he will find these Lings, hopefully before they spawn into Banelings. If not, he's going to have a huge problem on his hand. There it is. He finds them. Unfortunately, no speed just yet, but it's about to kick in for all parties. He kicks in first for DudeFromBrzl, and it looks like he is going to go and take advantage of that speed boost and try to get in that base. Unfortunately, Pollo's speed boost has just kicked in. We see more Lings coming in. He's caught him out of position here. Do see 2 spines down and a queen, however, and they are very going to easily dispatch these Lings here and go ahead and take them out. We see Zealots coming underway now for Crump, as he is attempting very quickly to get some Zealots out, realizing that there is a big Zergling threat here. And here we go. We see a huge Zergling rollout here from Celo, and it looks like he is going to take advantage of this. Unfortunately, Pollo is going to hit just as those Banelings are about to hit. He needs to get out of there. Oh, and the Banelings take out everything. Unfortunately, Pollo was completely caught off guard with that. He saw the nest, but not in time. Unfortunately, those Banelings hatch, and he's going to have to try and drag them back and see if he can snipe out those Banelings. They're most likely going to go for his mineral line. It looks like the Spinecrawler will take out at least 2 of them, and he's going to evacuate these drones, and unfortunately, these Lings are going to completely obliterate them if these Zealots cannot get there fast enough. These Zealots going to work on the spawning pool. It looks like a miss micro there from Crump, And Crump, unfortunately, a little outnumbered here. This is not looking good at all. This is the absolute worst nightmare situation you want to be in as Zerg on Scorched Haven. This is what Celo and Dude from Brazil are known for. He has barely fought that off here, and we do see a handful of lings from Celo here just holding it on. Crump barely fortifying the entrance of his own base here. See a few more zealots coming out. If they can hold off this push, they will have a little bit of an advantage since Crump has been able to advance past just the initial stalkers. You know, he's on tech 1.2 basically at this point. So Dude from Brazil coming out with more banelings. These zerglings will go down for Pollo. However, he is aware of the banelings. He does have vision out here. It looks like Crump finally on warp gates. That has come just in time. He's going to need to start warping in a lot of stuff to try and protect his teammate here. Take a look at economy here, and you'll see that Pollo is starting to struggle at only 13 workers. Dude from Brazil now starting to drone up a little bit. It looks like they will try to now baneling bust Crump here. They will not continue to hit an injured Pollo. That may be a questionable decision. We also see 2 workers here from Dude from Brazil. I guess someone told them that the battle was over and they had won. They're like, wait a minute, that doesn't look like we won. Let's get back to work, guys. We got a battle here to face. We see Pollo now coming out for a questionable expand at this point. Looks like he says, you know what, if I'm going to be crippled, I might as well just go for the early expand, try to bounce back here. Do see some stalkers here. Stalkers, of course, not very effective against mass lings, and Celo has plenty of lings. We also see some spines coming down as well. This is going to be a tough battle. This is very questionable. Crump doing this counterattack here. Lings are just too easy to get out, and this is not looking good. There are not enough zealots in this army here. This is very questionable, and he's about to find out why. See Celo pulling back. He doesn't want to take any chances. He's going to try and use those spines as a defensive barrier here to kind of like, you know, bait those stalkers in. Crump, very smart choice here to pull back. He does not have the unit count to take on those lings. He needs more zealots. It looks like, though, he is continuing to go with the stalkers. You do see a forge coming down now, though, as well, and it looks like he has charge and blink capabilities almost ready. It looks like they're going to go for an expand here. That is the case. They definitely want to play defensive, try to keep these expansions a secret right now. It doesn't look like anyone knows about them, and they do not. So that is definitely something they want to keep a secret, but they do want to take out Dude from Brazil's just very long-lasting extractor here. He's been keeping an eye on this for quite a while. So he's going to go ahead and take that down. The stalkers are very well known, and looks like we will have charge lots coming into play. A good choice here. The blink, though, very important if he wants to be able to blink away from these zerglings and just leave them with stalkers. That will be a very critical decision there. He needs to try and get as many of these upgrades up as possible. We see Pollo now going for that layer, and we also see that for Celo. And we see Dude from Brazil now going for an expansion. He's waited a really long time to expand. This is not something that we're used to seeing from him. At 11 minutes, that is probably one of the latest expansions I've seen him do in one of these games. And it's going to be very interesting to see if he can play that effectively, because right now he is very low on units. We see him with only 4 banelings and 12 lings. We do see some roaches coming out now. Roaches, though, not sure how effective that's going to be with so many stalkers in play. He's almost better off just going Ling Hydra at this point, and we do not see Hydras coming down. We see the dual evolution chambers. The layer is now up, so we might see some Hydras coming out now. Really should, though. Those roaches are not going to be as effective. We see Celo doing some great scouting here, though, getting some good eyes on these expansions. Crump not paying enough attention, and this expansion is going to be spotted now as well from Pollo. And let's take a look at the income here, and we'll see that, you know, we do have a lone Ling in there, kind of biting off a little more than he can chew. We do see now Pollo has completely bounced back here on economy, and it is now Dude from Brazil that is falling behind. So that of course going down. We see now some spines coming down. This could be anyone's game. It looks like they have pretty much bounced back here. Unit count, of course, still favoring Celo a little bit here. We do see Celo with quite a bit of roaches and lings and blings now rolling out here. And we do see blink just finishing for Crump. That is going to be so critical here. Unfortunately, no units at all from Pollo. So this is basically going to be a 2-on-1, mostly ling based. We do have some charge lots. Or it looks like actually he canceled the charge and went for blink instead. It looks like this army got a little divided here, though. This is not looking good. These roaches, of course, bouncing in, but unfortunately those blings not going to find the mark. and the blings being taken out completely. Those zealots properly taken out, and look at the blink play on these stalkers. They're going to roll in here and try to take out these roaches here. They need to run back though, get back into these zealots. Those zealots, of course, going to be great at taking out these lings here, and this is starting to look a little scary for the undefeated team. We are seeing them scamper away with fast roaches, so these are not the usual slow roaches that we've seen, and this is not looking good at all. Crump chasing these roaches here, but he needs to be very, very careful because lings, he is still very susceptible to lings, and unfortunately now here come the lings and the chase goes the other way. He really needs to back up these stalkers with some zealots. That is going to be the only way that he is going to be able to save them. That is a good blink there. That zealot, of course, will die for the team, and we see more stalkers coming out. At this point, though, the stalkers may have enough to be able to fight off those lings. 2 stalkers get caught off guards. We see some more lings rolling in here. Unfortunately, this army is just not cohesive enough to really put a dent in here, but they are succeeding in fighting back this army, preventing it from coming back and hitting them. Dude from Brazil very quickly trying to erase that drone droppage, but unfortunately, he's still very low on the drone count at only 20 drones, and Celo with a queen pretty far out here. I'm not really sure what's going on there. I guess Mama's pissed off and wants to have a talk with the mean boys that are bullying her sons, because I can't find another reason why that queen would be way out here. Definitely looks like a micro mistake on his part. Maybe got caught in a hot group there. Nope, not caught in a hot group, so a little questionable there. We do see some lings. They're going to go and check for this expansion. They will be pleasantly surprised to find out that they have not been expanding as much as they normally do. We only now are starting to see some creep spread here. Dude from Brazil just barely saturating this. We did see him go down with these, definitely doesn't want to be caught off guard again. We also see some Hydralis underway, or at least we do see a Hydralis den out. No Hydralis as of yet. Let's go and take a look at the unit count here, and we'll see that the armies are starting to stack up very nicely here. 20 stalkers and 8 roaches. We do have about some ling count now coming out for Pollo. Pollo definitely taking his time. We take a look at resources. You look at Pollo's resources here. Could very easily create an enormous group of Mutalis. He really has anything at his disposal here. Not sure how effective Mutalis will be. They do have Hydrodens down, but they do not have any. We do not see any Hydralis at all. So the Mutalis would only have the spore colonies to fight against. We do now see some Archons coming out as well. Very, very good decision there, as well as some detection from Pollo. We also see Cyanic Storm coming out. This is starting to look a little dangerous. This is the kind of army here. It's diverse enough. It has enough pull. The only thing it doesn't have enough of is Zealots. However, we do see some Zealots pouring in now, and these Archons will definitely help back it up. The Blink Stalker play from Crump has been on point. This is starting to look like something dangerous. We do see Pollo keeping them busy, keeping them occupied. Those Zerglings will finally go down. But this is definitely starting to shape up to look a little interesting. We see Crump also putting this proxy pylon to help out his teammate. He can warp in units if needed. We do also see some Infestors coming out in here. Nice bunch of Infestors opting not to go for the Mutalis. That was a very, very good point here. We do see Mutalis coming out for Celo, however. Looks like he has 12 Mutalis now. Interesting choice with all the Stalkers here. Most likely going to be used for some kind of counterattack. Crump's proxy pylon being discovered, and he's going to go ahead and take that out. We also see Celo going for a third base as well. The attack will need to happen before that third base can get up and running. If they let Celo get to a third base, they're going to lose this advantage. However, these Mutalis look like they are ready to be killjoys. They're going to completely force a pullback here of all kinds of units as we see these Mutalis rolling in here. We do see some links from Dude from Brazil also roaming around with a handful of Hydralis, and it looks like these Infestors are a little undecided here, but it looks like they are going to try to pull back. Crump losing a lot of workers though. This is terrible. He had almost mined out his main, so not too much of a loss. But this is definitely going to be very, very dangerous. We see Celo trying to take down a little bit of those tech buildings there. And we do see them chasing now. It looks like Dude from Brazil a little distracted by this pretty butterfly floating in the field here. He's going to go ahead and try to take that out, but finally realizing, oh, guys, come on, focus here, focus. So we do see Celo doubling down now on flyer attacks, and we do see now a nice army rolling out here from Celo. Those Fungals going to be very critical. However, he does not have enough units to really do any damage here, and those Blings are going to fight back those lings there. We do see these infestors now rolling in here. Needs to be very careful. There are an awful lot of spores in here. Looks like he is just skirting the spores there. And that is going to be very, very dangerous. Meanwhile, these Mutalisks going to pay Celo a visit. They will have a little bit of spores to contend with. These Zerglings pulling back now as well. Looks like they're going to go ahead and nope, they will bypass that that pylon there. Not a good idea. They will go to work on the spores immediately. Meanwhile, these infestors are now sitting very pretty here. We also see a worm out, a Nidus Canal for Dude from Brazil. He may try to use that, take advantage of these very large cliffs here. Meanwhile, these Mutalisks in a very uncomfortable position here. This is very, very dangerous for them. They have taken a lot of damage, lost quite a few units here. They will pick off a few more. Nope, looks like those Blinkstalkers will kick them out of their base. Meanwhile, a lot of infested Terrans going down. This is very bad for Dude from Brazil. This will take out most of his tech, if not his entire base. Very, very dangerous. These infestors very slyly saying, haha, our work is done. We are out of here. And they will get out of there. But Dude from Brazil's main base going down. All of his tech is being completely destroyed. Will they get the spawning pool in time? It looks like they will get the spawning pool. The worm barely alive here. Meanwhile, these Hydras rolling in. We do not see enough fungals going down. It looks like, oh, Psionic Storm coming to save the day. Completely crippling those Hydralisks. Sonic Storm coming down again. Pay this man his money. They have completely gotten their money's worth out of those Sonic Storms. The GG from Dude from Brazil, and the impossible has happened. Not only are they behind in this matchup, but they have lost on Scorched Haven, a map that has been a complete safe haven for them, as this has been a map that they have time and time again upset people, and Crump's army marching to all but a guaranteed victory at this point. Just a handful of Celo's units. Celo, of course, trying to prove he has a little bit extra heart left in him, trying to make something happen with nothing. Unfortunately, he is just not going to get this done. He may take out a few infestors here, being a little annoying, but there is the surrender from Celo. Wow, what an amazing turn of events in this series. And on Scorched Haven, nonetheless, we see Pollo and Crump pulling out an amazing, unbelievable victory. It looked so bad in the beginning there. We saw that double team against Pollo, but they had the right plan for it. They stayed tough, and they were able to pull through. That is incredible. We cannot count out Dude from Brazil and Celo. They are an amazing team that has gone undefeated all season, and they're most likely going to be invigorated by this loss to say, hey, we can do better than this. So the next game is either going to put Pollo and Crump up by 2, or it's going to even the series again. This is starting to look really, really exciting. We'll have to see what happens. We'll have the next game coming up in just a few short minutes.